Hello, welcome to another tutorial. In this one, we're going to be making a meme maker in Windows Form and C#. Okay, so let's just take a look at the project that we're going to be making. All right, so at the moment we have two text boxes that are responsible for changing the top text and the bottom text. And this is a picture box, right? We're able to open existing images and we're also able to save it. You also have these little buttons here that control the color of this text, right? So I can change it to white, yellow, green, pink, and red, and also you can change it to black. But obviously black on black background is not really great. So let's go and open up an image. So the way this program is designed, so as soon as you click on open, it's going to go to your My Pictures. So that's where generally all the pictures are saved. But I saved the sample pictures on the desktop, so let's just go get those. So these are some of the sample meme images that I've just downloaded from the internet, and I can just load up the success kit here. All right, so as you can see, you got your top and the bottom one. So let's just say, something for now and success, just like that. All right, and if I click on save, right, it's gonna save it with a name. So it's gonna say meme with moict.jpg. It's gonna save it as a JPEG image. If I click save, right, and if I go and open the folder here, you'll see that there's another image that says meme with moict. And if I open this image, okay, so as you can see, the text is actually embedded in there. So something for now and success. Okay, so this one creates a JPEG image from the app itself, and we can also change the color of it. So let's say if I change it to yellow and then click on save, and I'm just gonna save it as 2. Okay, so as you can see, it's been updated here. So right now this one is the text with the white and this one is the text with the yellow. All right, so this should be a fun app to make in Visual Studio. We're going to be using Windows Form, .NET Framework, and C# programming. So let's go and make a new project. Okay, so in the project window, create a new project here. Okay, I'm going to choose the Windows Form .NET Framework with C#. Click next. Let's name this one Meme Maker with moict, and then I'm going to click on create. All right, so to begin, let's go and change a few things to the form. So we're going to change the height and width of this one. So this one's going to be 870 by 650, like so. All right, it's going to change the name to Meme Maker with moict. Okay. Right, so first thing we're going to need is a group object. So we need to group the objects together, so we're going to use a group box. Okay, so let's just drag and drop a group box from the toolbox here. So if you just go to toolbox and then group box there. Okay, so I've added another one. Don't need another one. Okay, so the group box, basically the way it works is any component that's inside of it is grouped together, so we're able to use this here to actually move it around. Okay, so let's set up the group box first, and then we can start adding the components to it. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the text of the group box while it's selected here. I'm going to change the text in the properties window to add text. Okay, so as you can see, it changed it there. We don't need to name this one because we're not going to be using it in the C# at all. Right, so I'm just going to make it slightly bigger so we can actually start adding the stuff that we need to add to it. So let's add a label to this one first. So, and let's add actually 2 labels and then 3 labels. Okay, so right now I got 3 labels inside this group box. So if I just drag it, as you can see, it actually drags all 3 of them together. So I don't individually drag them across. Okay, I'm also going to need 2 text boxes and a few buttons. Okay, let me just put a text box here. I'm going to click on the little triangle icon there. If I click on that, it opens up the multi-line. You also have the multi-line option here as well. Okay, so it's set to false, but if we just set it to true, it changes to that, and then obviously you can make it bigger, so that way it's a lot easier there. So I'm just going to copy and paste that again. So Control C, Control V to the group, so that way it's just exactly the same size as before. Okay, so this label here, instead of saying label 1, I'm going to say here top text. This one is going to be the bottom text, and this one here I'm going to move it slightly here. Then we'll just say change color. Okay, so I'm using the UK English for the color. Right, and let's go and find a few buttons. Okay, so we're just going to make one button first. So what we don't need the text on this one. Okay, so we can get rid of the text, make it slightly smaller. Okay, so I'm gonna copy and paste it a couple of times. If I press Ctrl C and then Ctrl V, you can see it gets pasted there. Okay, make it again, so V again. Just gonna drag it across here to be aligned. Okay. Alright, so with all of these components, if I just click on the group, I'm able to move all the components together. I'm just going to paste it here. So I'm just going to place it here. Okay, so now if I go and just add back color to these buttons. So the back color is the background color for the buttons. So each of them. Okay, so if I click on the first one and then go to back color option on the inside the properties. All right, so you can also see all the buttons that I have added before. So button 1, I'm going to change the back color of this one to black. Okay, so this one can be black there, and then this one is going to be white. Okay, find that one. This one will make yellow. Okay, this one can be red. This one will be pink. Okay, and then this one will be green. We can just pick a green here. That's fine. Okay, so now we just need to name this one and this one change, because we need to call these in the C# one, and we're going to be using the same event for all of these. So, and if you follow the last tutorial that we did, the way we done the radio buttons for the folder slideshow, you can probably understand how we're going to do this, but we're going to go through it again anyway, so not to worry. Okay, so we've got your text box 1. So this one here, we're going to call it txt top text box, and then this one here is going to be txt bottom text box, txt bottom text box. Okay, so with that done, now what we need is a picture box. Let's grab a picture box here and put it right here, and then we might need to size it up a little bit more, maybe with the keyboard. Okay, so with that done, we're gonna change the back color of the picture box to black. Okay, so, and then also let's change the name of this one to IMG preview. Okay, so the name of this picture box is IMG preview, and also we need to change the size mode here from normal to zoom, so that way it doesn't stretch the images that we're going to import. Okay, we need 2 more buttons, so I'm just going to take one button first. Let's add it here, make it big enough. Let's change the text of this one to open. Okay, and then we're going to change the name of this one to BTN open. I'm just going to copy and paste that again. Okay, and we're going to change this one here. So this one's name is going to be BTN save. So you open it with this one and then you save it with this one. And we're also going to change the text of this one to save. Okay, all right, so that's the UI done at the moment. We just need 2 more labels actually. All right, so let's put one label here and then put another label here. Okay, so both of these labels are going to be responsible for showing the text on the image. right? And they should be changing when we add text to these two here, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the first label there, and then let's go and change the auto size to false first of all. So I want it to scale. Okay, so I'm just going to drag it across so it's the size of the picture box there. Maybe make it slightly bigger like that. Okay, now if you're seeing the color there, don't worry about that just yet, because what we're going to do is there is a way to get transparency, true transparency in C#, but we have to make these labels child of this picture box. Okay, so for now let's go and name this one to LBL top text. All right, and we also need to change the font. Bold 16. Let's see how that looks. It's all right. We do need to change the fore color to white. Fore color is the text color. If we change the back color, then it's going to change the gray part here, right? And what we'll also do is we'll change the top text to middle, so it actually places it here for now. So let's change it to black for the moment, the fore color, so that way we can actually see the text on the screen. Okay, for the moment. And let's do the same for this one. Okay, go to auto size, set that to false, stretch it across with the picture box. Edge to edge would be good. Okay, make it slightly bigger. And then we'll place it here. Okay. Last thing we need to do is change that to the middle, change the font to 16, and then change the name as well to LBL bottom text. Okay, and of course we need to change the, it'd be nice to change the text as well here actually, so say sample bottom text for now, and then this one can be sample top text. Okay, all right, so the UI is now done. All right, so you got your two labels, two text boxes, buttons, and so on. All right, so first thing we need to do is we need to add events to these two text boxes here, and then we'll obviously add the events for the buttons as well. All right, so let's do that first. So the text box 1, so this is the top text box, right? So if I go to the events there and go to text change, so say change top text and press enter. Okay, that will add the change top text event there for us, and then click on the second text box, text change again, and say change bottom text. Okay, so those two events are added. Okay, then what we'll do is we'll go to the open one. Okay, and then let's go find the click event here. Okay, open button, say open image. All right, and then go to click save button, click on save image. Okay, now we got 4. We need one more, so I'm just going to click on the first button here, and then once you click and say change text color. Okay, so that's the event there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to select each of them, and we're going to add the same change text color to it. All right, so that's going to be linked to the second one. Go to this one here, change text color again. Okay, do that same for this one as well. Okay, and now they all have it. Just going to double check if all of them have been linked to the right one. Yes. Right, that's perfect. Okay then, so right now with the UI and the events linked, we can actually get started on the C# script. Okay, so in the C# script, we're going to just scroll over all the way to the top. In the using namespaces, we need another namespace imported for this one. It's going to be for the drawing and the imaging. Because we need to save the image as a JPEG file, we need this namespace in order to save it as the true JPEG instead of saving it as a bitmap and then renaming it as a JPEG. Okay, so let's go and make a space here and say using system.drawing.imaging. Okay, and then do a semicolon in the end of that line. All right, I'm just going to comment this one here, say this one is for saving JPG images. All right, so you can comment on any line by using the double slash in front of it, so that way it just turns green, and this line here is not going to affect the code in any way. So this is just for us when we look at the code to sort of understand what went to making it and stuff like that, and we know what kind of bugs and stuff like that has come about since making it. All right, so let's go and add a variable. So we're going to need one variable for this one at the moment. So the only one that we're going to need is an open file dialog. So we're going to say open file dialog here. Let's say open image file, and then let's just keep it that. Okay, we will also need another function to set up the app. Okay, so we can say private void setup app, like so, and then okay, so do the small brackets and then the two curly brackets here. All right, so this one here is going to load up the default values for all the apps, and that includes setting up these two labels to become the child of this picture box here. All right, so let's do that first, and then we can sort of see how it works when you actually run it. All right, so I'm going to say img preview dot controls dot add, and then inside of the bracket I'm going to say lbl top text. Okay, going to do the same here, img preview again dot controls dot add. Okay, lbl bottom text. Okay, so now both of those have been added as the child of the picture box here. So when the program runs, it's going to become the child of the picture box, so that way we can actually get the transparency on both of those. So right now if I click on one of them and go to back to the properties, and if I set the back color here instead of control, if I go to web and set it to transparent, you'll see that it doesn't have any change. That's because it doesn't support true transparency on the Windows form and the picture boxes if they are overlapping each other. But if the object is the child of the picture box, then it will inherit the background, or it will inherit the colors from that one in order to show it between, you know, wherever the colors are not needed or where the alpha isn't present on the actual object. Okay, so I'm going to do the same for the bottom one. Go to web and then transparent. So back color, click on the drop down, instead of system, go to web, transparent. Okay, just make sure those two are set for this one. Right, and then what we're going to do is now we need to tell the location of the label, because it's been set as the child of the image picture box. Right, what's it going to do is, as soon as it realizes that, it's going to set the location to 0, 0 for both of them, and we don't need that. We want the 0, 0 to, well, you can be 0, 0 for the first one, but it sort of needs to be a little bit lower for the second one, because the second one is in the bottom here. Okay, so lbl top text dot location, let's set it to a new point, so the new point can be 0 and then 0. Okay, so that's for the x and y. All right, so it's going to go for the location, go for the left and the top location, and then it's going to set it to that. All right, and then let's go to lbl bottom text dot location. It's going to be new point. So let's just try out a number, see how it works for us. So, and then say 350 maybe, and then say img preview dot send to back. So I want to be sent back from the label. So both labels should be on the front, and then the image picture box should be in the back. Right, so inside the main constructor for the form, I'm going to run the setup app here. Setup app. Okay, the function is going to be called here. So let's go and run the program and see where that text actually shows up. All right, so if you see it now, so right now we can't see the text because the background is black on the picture box and the text is black as well. So I'm just going to change the background of this one to something else for now. So let's check gray, so I can actually see the text. Okay, so can you see both of the texts here? Right, so we got the top text that's been set up already, and then the bottom text, and they're actually transparent to the picture box. Okay, So the way the logic of this app, the way it's going to work is when we click save, what's it going to do is it's going to draw everything that's inside of this picture box. That includes all the child of this picture box. So this actually works out a lot better for us, because otherwise we'll have to specify the transparency, the alpha, and the actual top and the bottom text. By making the picture box the parent of both of these labels, right, we are actually avoiding the extra work. Okay, so that looks nice. Now it's time to link these two to these two. All right, so let's go to the top one. So let's say lbl top text dot text is going to be equals to txt top text box dot text. That's it. Okay, and then let's go to lbl bottom text dot text is going to be equals to txt bottom text box dot text here. All right, so whatever text is inside the bottom text is going to be equals to the actual label to show the text on there. So if I run the program now, okay, right now it says sample text. So if I change something to say not really, right, as you can see it changes there. And this one you can say, you can see the text changing and it looks awesome already. Okay, so see it actually wraps the text around as well, but we do have a limitation on how many characters we can use in there. Okay, but as long as your texts are obviously in a meme, you don't need to use that many text anyway. So this way we can actually avoid unnecessary text to be put on here. All right, so now those two are done. We'll get to the open and the save one in a minute. Let's get to the change text color first. All right, so this one here, what we're going to do is, because all the buttons here, this, as you can see, this is being referenced 6 times because all the other 6 buttons are being referenced back to this event here, right? So those are the sender of this event. So what we can do is we can create a temporary button class inside of this function that's only going to be used for this event, right? And then we can use that to find out what the back color of those buttons are and then apply those to the labels. Okay, so we can say button like so with the capital B, right? So you can say temp button like so equals to sender as button. Okay, and then semicolon that. Now we can say lbl top text dot back color equals to temp button dot back color, and then lbl bottom text dot color equals to temp button dot back color. Okay, let's delete the extra spaces from here, so we don't need those. All right, so that's it really. What's it going to do is it's going to find the button that send the event, right? And then it's going to apply the color of the labels to the back color from the back color of the buttons. All right, so if we run this now, and let's see how it works. Okay, so right now black is fine. It goes to white, yellow, green, pink, and red. Okay, it's pretty simple, isn't it? That's very nice. Okay, excellent. So we got quite a few done. Fantastic. Okay, so now let's do the open image, right? So what we want to do is we want to select an image and then apply it to the image preview picture box. Okay, so what we need to do here is make some space inside the event and say open image file equals new open file dialog, right? So that's the class. So we are invoking a new instance of the open file dialog class here. So say open image file dot initial directory is going to be equals to environment dot get folder path, and then inside of that we can do a semicolon at the end of the line here. Say environment again dot special folder dot my pictures. Okay, so it's going to go straight to the my pictures file of that user. So whichever user is loading up this app, they will have a my pictures folder inside their documents. and we're just going to go to that straight away. So that way we don't have to specify which folder to go to. So whenever we click open, we want that folder to be the first one that shows up. Okay, and then say open file image dot filter. So we need to filter it, and then you can say here image files only. Okay, let's do this thingy here actually. So this is the first part, goes and sort of shows up on the text on the bottom. All right, so that's what we need. So right now we're going to say do a couple of brackets here, and then say .jpg, okay, .gif, .png, and lastly we're going to do a .bmp file as well. Okay, and then outside the bracket we're going to do a single pipe symbol here, right? And then I'm just going to copy and paste that bit from here and put it here for now. Okay. Okay, so this one needs to be, instead of commas, this one will need to be semicolons here. Okay. Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot that equal sign there. Okay, so now the red line should go away. Okay, so this is basically just going to set up the initial directory for us and look for those specific files only. Okay, and that applies to only single file. All right, and then we need to do a if statement here. So I'm just going to type in if and do a double tap on the keyboard, and that completes the if statement with the brackets and such. So I'm going to say open file dot show dialog, and then do the brackets here. It's going to be equals dialog result OK. So if I clicked on a file and if I click on OK, so here we need to try to open the file, and if we can, if it's a success, apply it to the picture box. If it's not, then it needs to show an error. So just in case the picture, the image file is corrupted, or we picked the wrong file or something like that, that's perfectly fine. You know, we can show an error message, and then without crashing the actual app, we can go ahead and try again. Okay, so let's say try. Okay, so as you can see, if I type in try and then press double tap, right, it will complete that for me in Visual Studio. If you don't need to do that, you can just type in try and do the curly brackets, right, and it should do that for you as well. Because inside of try, we're going to say img preview dot image equals image dot from file. Okay, let's say open image file dot file name. Okay, so that's the file that's been selected from here. Okay, and whichever file that gets selected after you click OK, it's going to be applied to the actual image. So now we're going to say exception.ex here. So that's the exception that we need to catch. Okay, I'm just going to get rid of the throw part here and just say message box dot show. Okay, and just say error, couldn't find, oh sorry, couldn't load the file, or not find the file. Load the file, and then just going to say plus ex dot message. So that way we know exactly what happened with the file there. Okay. I'm just going to get rid of some of the spaces. I put too much space here. Okay, so hopefully that wasn't too difficult to understand, but just to go over it again, in the open image event, so that's linked to the open button here, so BT and open, right? First we are creating a new instance of the open file dialog class, and then from that instance we are giving it a initial directory, giving it the filters of the files that we want to select only, right? So that in the beginning of this filter here, this is the names of the files that we're going to show in the dialog box, and I'll show you how that works in a minute. Okay, and then we're putting a pipe symbol from your keyboard that basically separates the text versus what's going on behind the scenes. Then we're using this asterisk.jpg, then semicolon, asterisk.gif, semicolon, asterisk.png, semicolon, asterisk.bmp, and then you don't need to put a semicolon in the last one, right? So these are only for the files that, you know, multiple files there. Okay, so behind the scenes, it's only going to look for these kind of files that are available in the actual program or in the actual folder. Okay, and right after that, we're doing an if statement here to say if the we selected an image and we clicked OK, we're gonna try to apply it to the image picture box, right, with the open file. So whatever file that we selected with the file name. If we, for some reason, if we cannot, then we're gonna catch the error and show the error message on the screen without crashing the actual app. So usually, if you can't load it, sometimes it crashes, but this is like sort of like a safety for the app, so we can actually load up another file and try again. Okay, so let's try to actually open an app, open the app again and try to run this one. Okay, so if I click on start, okay, so for now I'm going to click on open. So as you can see, it actually opens right into my pictures. Okay, and the bit that we did here was see here how it says image files only .jpg, GIF, PNG, and bitmap, right? That is this part here. Okay, you can change this part of the text, the first part before the pipe, and the pipe after that. You won't be able to see those in the information here because that's what's happening in the background. So if I go to my desktop now and then select a meme, okay, so I type in the first world problem bit, right? So you can see the file has been successfully loaded and is able to apply it to the picture box and around it. Okay, so I can change the text color here. Okay, I can actually add the text. Okay, very nice. Okay, so we got one last bit to do, and that's going to be to save the image. Okay, so when we click on the save image file, when we click on the save button here, right, what we want to do is, first of all, we want to load up the save dialog box. Okay, so save file dialog, right, so I say this one is called save dialog equals to new save file dialog there. So this is the new instance of the save file dialog there. And then say save dialog.name or file name actually. So file name can be equals to meme with no ICT, and then do a semicolon to end that. Okay, so say save dialog again to default ext. So default ext basically means what type of file do we want to save. So what we want to do is we want to save it as a JPEG file only. Okay, so we are going to save it as a JPEG, and then we'll do another one, save dialog again dot filter. Okay, so once again it's going to be work exactly the same way. So image, and then do a pipe sign again, and then right here say asterisk dot jpg, and then outside the quotation we can do a semicolon to end the line. Okay, we also need to do a save dialog dot validate names is equals to true. So what this does is that it stops the user from using like pound sign or commas and stuff like that on the actual file name, so that way it doesn't interfere with the Windows default functionalities and stuff like that. So it's basically like a safeguard for the app. Okay, so now with that being said, what we can say here is if, once again, say save dialog dot show dialog there equals dialog result dot OK. Right, so if we have clicked OK, then what we need to do right now is we need to capture the height and width of this picture box right here. Okay, so what we'll do is say int width first is equals to convert to int32. Okay, and change that to img preview dot width. Okay, and let's do an int height. Let's do convert dot to int32. Say img preview dot height. Okay, now we're gonna have to use the bitmap class. So it's a bitmap, and then just gonna call it BMP. So it's like a temporary one. Goes to new bitmap, and then we'll just pass in the width and the height. Okay, so say img preview dot draw to bitmap. Okay, do the semicolon here, say BMP, new rectangle. Okay, do the small brackets in there. It says 0, 0, and then width, and then height. Okay. So basically, it's going to take all the information that's from the picture box and it's going to draw it to a bitmap, right? Using the height and width from here, and then inside of the bitmap, we're going to draw everything using the height and width again, and we're going to locate everything to the 0, 0, and the XY. Okay. And of course, we're going to say bmp.save. Now, inside the list here, as you can say, save dialog, inside the bracket, save dialog.file name, and then image format is going to be to JPG. Okay, so let's just go and get rid of some of these empty spaces here first of all, and that way we can see the function better. Okay, so once again, this is the save image event, right? So we are invoking the first save dialog, right? So save file dialog is a class, so we are creating a new instance of it called save dialog right there, and that, as you can see, the instance is being pretty much used everywhere inside of this event. Okay, so first one is the file name. So the default file name I'm setting it to is meme with muict. The default file extension is JPG file, right? The filter is going to be JPG. We're going to validate the names. That's perfectly fine. And inside the if statement here, once we clicked OK on the dialog box, we're going to create a local integer called width, local integer called height. That's going to take the height and width of the picture box. Another local integer called BMP. That's another local bitmap called BMP, not an integer. Right, we're creating a new bitmap with the height and width. So that's basically like just an empty bitmap right there. And then we're going to draw to that bitmap using the details from the picture box, right? So we're going to draw to bitmap, and then obviously that's the bitmap that we're going to draw to. And inside that, we're just going to make a new rectangle and pass in all the information from this picture box to the bitmap. And then after that, the bitmap is going to be converted to a JPG image. Okay. So hopefully that wasn't too complicated. We're going to try and run this app now and see if it actually saves it with the file name and we can actually open it. Okay, I think before we start, I would like to change the background color to black again and change those texts to white. So that way we don't have to change it every time. Okay, so both of those four colors been set to white. That one's back color has been set to black. So now I'm just gonna click on start. Right, so now it loads up. Let's go and try and open something. So go to desktop, images. Let's open the aliens guy. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, so now let's say okay, so I can change the color of this one. So right, that's fine. Keep it as red, I think. All right, and then click on save. So when I click save, now as you can see, it shows that JPG image.jpg there, and then it also tries to save it as a JPG file. Okay, so I'm going to say meme with muict. Click save. Okay, let me go back to the folder, and as you can see, there is a file that called meme with muict, and he has got the text on there. It's got the aliens. He's clearly thinking aliens, right? Okay, and obviously you can try it out with other images as well. Okay, open up more images here. So let's see which one you haven't tried yet. Right, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, and then let's try and change the text to white, and then I'm going to try and change it to fry meme. Okay, let's go back to the folder here. As you can see, the fry meme has appeared, and here we are. Okay, So if you have managed to follow this along so far, the project files will be included with this tutorial, and right now you have a meme maker that you made in Windows Form and C#. So I would say enjoy using it for a bit until we move on to the next tutorial. All right, and I will see you on the next one.